Hi, my name is Lindsey Pashow. I'm the Ag Business Development and Marketing Specialist for Cornell Cooperative Extension's Harvest New York team. This workshop is on market evaluation. When looking at marketing, we always have to look at the 4 P's of marketing. The 4 P's of marketing are price, product, promotion, and place. When looking at price, we need to look at many sectors of how we're going to price our products. How do we determine our price? Does it cover the cost plus pay yourself? Is the price reasonable for your market? Product. What are we selling? What is the quality of your product? How much product do you have available to sell? Is the product appropriate for the market? Is there room for the product in that market? Promotion. How are you planning to advertise your product? Through your website, social media, newspaper, word of mouth. Place. Where are you planning to sell your product? Who are your customers? What are they looking to purchase? Are you trying to sell at a farmer's market, a farm stand, a produce auction, a food hub, a wholesale outlet, maybe such as a school, a hospital, a restaurant? Market evaluation. People wonder, how often should I evaluate my market? It can be done weekly, monthly, every 6 months, yearly, but it should be done on a regular basis. This would be when you bring new products onto your operation, you increase or decrease sales, or you make any type of changes in your operation. When looking to evaluate our markets, we need to look at the pros and cons of each of our places that we're marketing our products to. This includes our CSAs, our farmers markets, U-Pick operations, farm stands, produce auction, grocery stores, cooperatives, restaurants, distributor brokers. When evaluating our direct markets versus our wholesale markets, there's many things to consider. So our direct markets would be our U-Pick operations, our farm stands, our farmers markets. So they're going to require at our direct markets an increase in crop diversity, increase in customer interaction. You're going to get a higher price point for your products. You're going to need lower volumes and also lower time, cleaning, sorting, packing, and also you don't have to have as consistent of a product when it gets down to it. But when we look at our wholesale markets, that would be our grocery stores, our restaurants, our schools. There is going to be a decrease in crop diversity, so you can concentrate on just a few crops when it gets down to it. Decrease in customer interaction. You may just be interacting with one person to sell your products. You are going to receive a lower price point, but you're going to require to do a higher volume when you go into a wholesale market. And then when it comes down to cleaning, sorting, packing, and consistency, that is going to be at a higher amount of time putting into taking cleaning, sorting, and packing your products. Now we're going to look at a case study that was put together several years ago by Matt LaRue from CCE Tompkins County. So how do you evaluate a market opportunity? So there's 6 factors to evaluate your market channel. So this example that we're going to go through is based around selling at a farmer's market. So our first factor in looking at our market channel is our price and our profit. So you attend a farmer's market and you are selling $500 worth of product per hour. Your second factor is your associated cost. When you're at the farmer's market, it costs you $300 a day to sell there. Your sales volume is that it's only 1 hour per week. So you're selling $500 worth of product, your $300 is coming out of your pocket, but you're only there for an hour. Your labor requirements, so that's your fourth factor of the marketing channel. It takes you 12 hours to prepare to go to this farmer's market. Your risk is your fifth part of the marketing channel to evaluate. And the risk associated with this farmer's market, if there's rain, no customers come. And then our sixth is our lifestyle preferences. Is this something that we want to be doing on a daily basis, weekly basis, is selling at this farmer's market? So now that you have the 6 factors, price and profit, associated costs, sales volume, your labor requirements, your risk, and your lifestyle preference, you need to make a determination. Is it worth selling at this farmer's market? So there's many different ways of evaluating your market. And one of the main ways that people tend to evaluate their market is based on their sales and also based around their labor. So for this part of the case study that Matt did was he looked at different methodologies of collecting collecting this information. And for this study, they looked at collecting logs on all your markets over one typical week during the peak season, collecting information on the gross sales and mileage for the week, then doing a collection of ranking of your lifestyles and risk, and then kind of putting a weights factor ranking behind it. But the main thing that they're looking at was labor logs. Why labor? Because labor's the largest marketing expense. It's a consistent unit. Operators can tell hired help to collect the information on forms, and each employee is required to fill out their own labor sheets. So this is an example of the labor logs that they used for this project. It has information on the employee, the date, the time spent doing the task, the product, and then the product destination. And then it was all broken down by the sectors of harvesting, processing and packing, travel and delivery, and sales time. So behind this methodology, they used data to rank and compare the channels. So they looked at the profit, which is the gross sales minus the labor plus the mileage cost. They looked at the labor hours required and the sales volume. And then they also factored in the farmer's ranking of their risk perspective. So are there financial loss of sales, and their lifestyle preference. How much their enjoyment, if there's any stress around it. I think the big factor when it comes down to it is you as the farmer this is your operation. You need to make the decisions of what's going to be best for you. And a lot of the times what's best for you really comes down to that lifestyle preference of what you want to be doing in either working in a direct market or a wholesale market. So this slide is evaluating the sales volume by channel. So they're looking at various different markets that this operation is selling into. This includes Watkins Glen Farmers Market, a restaurant, Ithaca Farmers Market on a Saturday, Ithaca Farmers Market on a Tuesday, Corning's Farmers Market, and a CSA. As we can see, their highest sales volume is their CSA. Their lowest one is Watkins Glen's Farmers Market. One thing I want to point out is this is for their operation. Every single operation selling at farmers markets is going to be different because we all are selling different products at different price points. This slide looks at the total labor hours associated with preparing for each of these different markets. As we can see, the restaurant labor hours are the least, while the Corning farmers markets are the most. If we look back to that past slide and think about where that CSA was, the CSA was our highest selling area of product, while our CSA labor hours now are right in the middle. So this slide shows a simple comparison of labor and sales in percentage. As we can see, our CSAs are requiring 18% of our weekly labor and 45% of our weekly gross sales. However, our Watkins Glen Farmers Market is 13% of our weekly labor and only 5% of our weekly gross sales. These comparison charts allow us to be able to make a determination of which markets we should maybe concentrate more in, and maybe potentially ones that we need to reconsider selling to in the future. This slide concentrates on profit. Profit as percentage of gross sales with owner labor value. As we can see from this slide, there are potentially markets we should concentrate more on in the future and other markets where we should potentially eliminate. So when evaluating your markets, you should have each of your different markets in a priority of which market is your first market, your second market, your third, and so on. Your first market could be anywhere from a CSA, and then you sell your excess product into the farmer's market or another wholesale outlet. Your U-Pick operation could be a first priority market, and say not everything's picked on the operations, you sell into a farmer's market. You also could sell to a wholesale as a first priority market, and then you have didn't sell everything that you needed to your wholesales, you put it in your farm stand or your farmer's market. Please note that just because you're selling stuff into a second market still means that it should be of high quality product. And if you are taking CSA members, that shouldn't be a second priority market. That should really always be a first priority market when it comes down to it, because those people are investing into your operation. So just to recap, make sure that you prioritize which markets you're going to be selling into. So have your first market, your second market, and your third. Make sure that you're focused on the best performing markets. So you're looking at your sales, your labor, your lifestyle. Is the product that you're selling in the appropriate area? Are you able to provide the proper quantity? And the biggest thing I want to stress is you're the farmer. It's your decision on which market you get to sell into. And is this what you want to be doing on a daily basis? Once you've evaluated your market, you should update your marketing plan. So these are the different sectors that are in a marketing plan: the executive summary, the market summary, SWOT analysis, which is the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, competition, product and services, target markets, customers, market strategies, budgets, financials, pricing and positioning strategies, market channels, distribution, promotion strategy. And then after evaluating markets, you may come to a conclusion that you need to look at finding new markets. So you're going to be looking at a marketing plan, which has short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. You're going to potentially look at market development, your market retention, what you need to meet that new market, so your price, your product specs, and providing samples. Then looking at what type of orders, which includes the quantity, the process, and the platform. Thank you very much for your time. My name again is Lindsey Pashow. I work for Cornell Cooperative Extension's Harvest NY team. My email address is lep67@cornell.edu. My phone number is 518-569-3682. 3073. Please feel to reach out to me at any point in time. I'm happy to work with farms on an individual basis on their market evaluations